Previously on the Jay and Dan podcast.
We have some big news.
Oh, we do?
On March 22nd, we are doing our very first live podcast.
What?
At Dan's alma mater, Algonquin College.
Yep. Gonk it up. It's being put on by the Algonquin Students Association. They're going to have it in
You said that like it was a question.
It's in an auditorium at Algonquin.
Again, you're the point man on this.
All ages, general admission.
So it's all ages, but there's booze being served. Jeez, that seems like a bad combo.
I felt it on my chin and then I moved.
Can I felt it on my chin be a new drop?
You're listening to the Jay and Dan podcast.
Let's gonk it up, yo! Dance. Yep, gonk it up.
We're back. All batteries recharged. Or new batteries inserted. Does anyone use rechargeable batteries? No one.
That seems like a lot of work.
It does.
To just not pop a couple of Duracells in there.
Oh, Billy, you want to play with that toy? Okay,
Hold on.
Give me an hour to plug these in.
I remember once on Gilligan's Island, all the batteries ran out, and then the professor realized, he looked and he said, "Hey, Gilligan, these batteries are rechargeable. All we have to do is figure out a way to do it." So then they rigged up some sort of exercycle type thing with a coconut or something, and suddenly they had radio access again, and they could listen to all the things happening back on the mainland.
I was watching Gilligan's Island the other day as well, and they tuned in the radio, and they found out that Thurston Howell had lost all his money.
Oh,
and
no.
They didn't know how to tell him.
Oh, a millionaire and his wife. If you haven't seen the show, it's quite something.
So finally, they did tell him, and he spent the whole episode, he was going to commit suicide. He was going to be jumping off a cliff. And then they tuned in at the exact time where they were correcting.
Correction.
They said, the story's wrong. He did not lose all his money.
He gained more of it.
So
That's a good plot. I wish shows were more wholesome like that now, you know?
Hey, it's
everything's CSI this and NCIS that.
big. Do we have those on Crave?
Probably not. We do have Jan.
Yeah.
We've got Jan. Is Jan on Crave or just the CTV network? In case you haven't heard, Jan Arden has her own sitcom. She plays Jan. That's about it.
We have Black Monday. That's a good show. I've been watching that.
On Crave, we have that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, nice.
Crave. If you can think of it, we've got it.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
the slogan, Crave. Boom!
You know what's funny? I keep making jokes that Netflix is not available in Canada. You know, just joking because obviously Crave is part of Bell Media and we work for Bell Media. But people are taking me seriously. Like they're sending me tweets and saying, "Guys, I've had Netflix for years now. Like, you don't know this?" Yes, I have to toe the company line here. I have Netflix, but it's not as good as Crave.
You heard off the top, we were talking about Ottawa. That's this coming Friday.
This Friday. So if you're listening to this over the next few days, still time to get your tickets.
March
22nd, this
22nd.
Friday. Yes, at Algonquin College's Dan O'Toole Theater. Is that
I'm kind of terrified.
of the theater, of going back to your college, of doing a live podcast?
All of it, because we don't know what we want to expect. I don't know how to talk.
The best would be if you just froze up completely on stage and started forgetting how to speak.
Oh, that happens during our show every night.
That would be amazing for an hour and a half. No, we don't really know what we're going to do. Well, we've kind of roughly, Christoph is sitting right over here with us. Christoph will be on stage with us. How great is that going to be? So if you've ever wondered, what does Christoph look like?
He's like a nightclub DJ. He's like Tiesto. Doing
Christoph
the drops.
looks like a young Chris Shepard. If you ever remember Chris Shepard, crazy baby. If you remember Chris Shepard from the old days, you know what were they? Big Shiny Tunes or whatever.
He wasn't on that.
Wasn't he? Didn't he have? He was in Love Inc. Wasn't he? I think he was part of that group. and they would have some tracks on there. Hey, crazy Chris Shepard, Megamix Volume 6. Apparently he's still alive, and
Apparently.
he's doing okay. No, it's just, if people are wondering, like, oh, way to go, you guys are speaking ill of the dead. No, apparently he's alive, and he's living remotely in some cabin somewhere.
You can't DJ up there.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's just doing it for himself. And at night, the
And
lights go
wildlife.
down, and then he brings up the strobe lights, and he has the disco ball, and he's like, hey, I'm back, baby! But there's no one in the room. It's just him. He just plays for himself.
So we were off last week, and you went to a DJ festival, did you not?
That's right. I went
no.
to an EDM festival in Ibiza.
Although you did go
Ibiza.
to Palm Springs, but you did not go for Coachella, because when is that?
That's in April.
It's coming up.
That's coming up. That's in about a month. I do miss going there. It's such a great festival. But no.
Dingle Bird and the Ding Dings.
That's who's headlining Saturday. Take a guess. Who do you think the 3 headliners are this year? Do you know? Do you have any idea?
Rihanna.
Take a serious guess. Okay,
Rihanna.
Rihanna. Go. Yeah, there's one. Okay.
Maroon 5.
Okay. That's another guess. That would be horrible. But yeah.
And who's big right now? The Arkells.
Okay. No, and no. It is Childish Gambino. That's
Oh, okay.
the Friday night headliner. Ariana Grande is the Sunday night headliner.
Okay, that's a...
She's like the biggest pop star in the world right now.
Yeah, but I didn't think pop stars went to that. I thought it was like...
2 years ago,
Alternative and
Lady
rock.
Gaga. Last year, Beyonce. It's all changed now. One night is a big pop star, and she's the pop star. And then Saturday is, Tame Impala, a band from Australia that I just
Who's
love.
that?
You don't know Tame Impala? They're fantastic. They're on
Literally,
the
this
verge
is
of
the-
becoming huge.
It's literally the first time I've heard of this band.
You've never heard of them, not once.
No.
Wow.
Dingo ate my baby. Is that their hit?
Yeah, that is it. Dingo ate my baby, and the dingo ate it again. Had another baby, and the dingo ate it again. With the Tame Impalas! Thank you, Coachella! That's their song. That's their whole set right there. They got to be nervous.
Okay, so you went to Palm Springs. You also visited Mickey and Minnie.
Went to Disneyland. Here's the thing. You've talked about how much you despise Disney. You didn't like the lineups.
Oh.
You didn't like the crowds.
Yes.
It was among the most crowded it's ever been. Because it was spring break in a lot of American states. It was spring break in Ontario. So yeah, it was a gong show. It was
But
a mess.
it's called the happiest place on earth, but waiting in line, that is hell on earth.
It is. The lineups were pretty excruciating, but it is happy. One thing that's amazing about that place, they had a section of the California Adventure Park called A Bug's Land, which is named after the Pixar movie A Bug's Life, and it was for the little kids, little rides for little kids. And I went to take my daughter there, and it's all boarded up, and it says Stark Industries. It's literally all boarded up like they're doing construction. And so I went up to one of the employees and I said, did they like cancel Bugs Land? She's like, oh no, the bugs have migrated? And it's going to be Marvel Land now. I'm like, I'm a 45-year-old man. Like, just give me the straight goods here, lady. But yeah, so it's going to be Marvel Land because they're doing Star Wars Land and they're doing Marvel Land. So that's kind of cool.
2 questions. Did you see any parents who should not be parenting? And did you see any kids on leashes?
No and no.
Oh, that's good.
I did see a lot of very, very heavy people, though. Very heavy people. Like, it was very noticeable. You know, America was heavier than Canada. All right? All due respect to my good American friends. But when we were getting on the plane to come home, all the Canadians who were passive-aggressively trying to skip their zone when it was called out, they were all, like, relatively thin-ish. Very different kind of girth than Americans. And the food, you know, everyone's walking around eating turkey legs and
Oh, yeah, those
churros
things are
and
massive.
it's giant turkey legs.
What does a turkey leg go for? $25 probably?
I don't think it would be that much. Maybe 15? We'll have to. I've never gone for a turkey leg. It just seems like a ridiculous thing to eat. Having said that, if the zombies come, the first people I want on the front lines are the people who eat those turkey legs. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Because they'd be going right in there.
Zombies, yeah, they like meat, I think. I
So-
don't know. I don't watch zombie flicks.
Something happened that I wanted to ask you about. I wanted to get your opinion about.
Okay.
We rented a minivan. I'd never rented a minivan before.
Ooh.
The first one I rented broke down within a day. It was a Dodge Caravan. It was fine.
Yeah.
I don't care about vehicles. You know
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
don't care. It was fine. It drove fine. Went back, got a Toyota Sienna.
Yeah, that's a good Toyota. They make good vehicles.
I didn't have what they call the Cadillac of minivans, the Honda. I'd like to try a Honda Odyssey. That's the Cadillac of minivans, apparently. But anyway, the Sienna was fine. I go to take it back to LAX, to the Hertz there. We pull it in, and this guy's standing there, and he sees that we've got a newborn baby. He says, how old's your baby? I said, 3 months. And he says, didn't they tell you? I'm like, whenever someone says something like, didn't they tell you? I'm like, okay, what kind of scam is this
Yeah.
going to be? And he says, oh, if you have a newborn baby, we'll drive you right to your gate at LAX. Like, you don't have to hop on the Hertz bus to get on to go to LAX. But I couldn't tell if this was a scam. You know,
Was
like
he-
he's just a random guy in the parking lot.
Oh,
Like,
he wasn't an employee.
No, he was. But he did, like, how do I know if he did just come walk on off the street and put on like a Hertz jacket of like some Hertz employee he murdered and then walked up to people in like minivans with newborns and like, oh, didn't they tell you? Well, we'll drive you to LAX. Like, I didn't know. It just seemed weird, didn't it? Like, we asked for 2 car seats when we were booking the van. Wouldn't they have said, oh, by the way, I'm not sure how old your baby is, but they'll drive you right to LAX. So we don't hear anything about it until this guy, Edward, his name was, walks up to us and says, I'll drive you there. So, of course, immediately my wife is like, let's do it. Because she doesn't want to get on that bus, right?
No, no one does. The LAX rental car situation's a disaster.
So then he gets in the driver's seat. I'm in the passenger seat. And now I'm making small talk with him for 5 minutes. We've just met. I'm like, well, how about those Lakers? And then we pull up to the gate and to our terminal. And we get out. And then he says, I go to pay for like a cart. And he's like, oh, you don't have to do that. I'll get you a free one. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Didn't they tell you? I'm smoking crack with you in the vehicle.
I'm like, what is happening? Like, am I gonna have to this guy? Is that what it's gonna come down to at the end?
Didn't they tell you? And then he just points down.
Because I'm just like, it seemed not legit. This is what I want to know from our listeners. Is this guy just a Hertz employee? And he was a Hertz employee. But is he running a racket with the other employees out in the parking lot? We're like, listen. Because of course I have to tip him, right?
Oh, he got the tip out of the.
Oh yeah, and I tipped him $20 because I was
Good
like,
tip.
listen, he drove us over here, he got us the free card, and he didn't ask me to, so I got to give him a nice tip. So I just want to know if that's real or if that's a scam that they're running at the Hertz, and are they running that at other rental car places?
Hertz. You don't got a.
Anyway, you went to Jamaica, Dan. That was great. Did you have to anyone down there?
I can't wait for people to figure out what the word is that keeps getting bleeped.
Well, I don't know if we have to bleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Christoph?
Stoff, what do you think? What's the?
I wasn't planning on it.
Yes.
Huh?
Let's not bleep that one.
Yeah, I went to Jamaica. Sunwing. I was not expecting great things. Turned out great.
Sunwing. We won't make you anyone.
They got us
And the airplane's not half bad.
It
wasn't a 737, was it?
It was the 3 and 3.
Okay, good.
Got champagne when you get on there. It was
Hey,
a
here
quick
we
flight.
go, Sunwing.
People were nice. They
How
give
was
you,
the leg room?
Fine. I'm
Yeah.
not a big guy. They gave all the kids beach balls in beach bags.
Well, and they were playing that thing when you're
No,
at
they
a
give it to
concert
you.
and someone has a beach ball. And
They give it to you like 5 minutes before you get off. They're like, yeah, you guys aren't getting away with this. They were great.
It'd be great if they gave it to you right when you took off, and then everybody blew them up, and then everyone batted them toward
would
the
be fun.
cockpit, and then they were filled the cockpit, and the pilot was like, Jesus! I can't see!
Did the all-inclusive, which I hadn't done in ages. You've never done it, right?
No, I've never done it. I'm willing to do it. I'd like to try it, but I want someone to suggest a good one, and this one you say is pretty good.
Food was amazing. But here's the issue I run into every time I do an all-inclusive.
You have done an all-inclusive in Jamaica before, haven't you not?
Yeah. Done one in Cuba.
Did this all-inclusive compare to the first all-inclusive in Jamaica that you did?
I didn't have money back then, so so this one, the food, much better.
The one last time was just Canadian Tire sausages?
Which would have been fine. Yeah, I looked up the last resort. It was like a 2.5 star. So, yeah, I was...
Were you like me with a wine list where you don't even look at the wines, you just look at the prices? And you're like, no. Yep, that's the one. We're off to Jamaica, kids. So this one was better.
Yes, it was. 99% Canadians.
It's amazing that happens. Where are all the Americans?
I guess Sunwing or someone, travel agencies booked this place up for
The
Canadians.
whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole place.
Big place, too. Here's the issue I have. All these adults drinking free cocktails all day long by the pool for like 10 hours. I didn't see a single drunk person. There's something going on with the booze.
Do you think everyone just drinks in moderation and
No.
you're the only one who does?
No, I see them sitting in the pool at the bar.
Yeah, you're watching them consume the beverages.
Yes.
Do you think they're sweating out the booze? Is it that hot?
Nope, wasn't that hot. Well, it was like 30, but it wasn't sweltering. So
you're saying they're like Vegas highballs?
I started to keep my eye on them.
Oh, yeah. You had a little spy operation going on.
They were serving Smirnoff vodka in the vodka drinks, and I saw them grab a new bottle. I'm like, okay, I'm going to hear the when you open it. None of that sound. The guy opened it, and then he noticed something in the bottle. Then he shook the Smirnoff bottle up like he was mixing something up inside.
Oh.
So do they have powder alcohol they mix with water?
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's like Tang. It's Smirnoff crystals. No, it's maybe he watered it down and he was like, no, that's not watered down enough. We got to make this stuff last the whole week. It's our last bottle of Smirnoff.
Didn't see a single person stumble, nothing. Anyway.
And you yourself didn't.
No, I was like, what the hell's going on?
You were
around here?
upright,
Yes.
ready to go.
And then so.
But what about you were drinking wine then? Why didn't you just start crushing bottles of wine down by the beach?
Well, they serve you the house wine, which is, again, someone's handwriting's on the bottle. I'm like, who the hell? What crystals did they make this from?
This doesn't sound like a 5-star resort.
So at dinner, if you wanted a bottle of wine that had not previously been opened and you've seen before, you had that's extra. That was like $80, $70, $80 a bottle. So I'm like,
U.S.
yeah. So at least I knew that one because the cork was taken off in front and they had to peel it off, and so that was good. But the one night after dinner, I went to the bar. And I saw some Crown Royal. It was like a beacon of light shining upon it. I'm like, I'll take some of that Crown Royal on the rocks. Poured me a big 3-finger drink. And I tasted it. I said, that is not Crown Royal. I didn't say that out loud. I'm just like, that's not.
I would have.
I whispered to the people. I'm like,
That's not Crown Royal.
that's not Crown Royal. So,
That's iced tea.
no, it tasted like booze that booze people don't know how to make.
So maybe everything was homemade. It's the homemade resort. The food and the booze is homemade.
And one last thing about Jamaica, and it applies to Sunwing. Sunwing, great job, but they're a bit too eager to leave.
What do you mean, leave Jamaica?
Yeah. We boarded at 2:20, leave the lounge at 5 after 2. I'm like, okay, we'll stop here, get some burgers for the flight at the old Dairy Queen, because you know I love my Dairy Queen burgers.
But so you brought food onto the flight?
No, we were going to eat them while waiting.
Oh, okay. While you were in line to get on the plane.
So my lady friend and 2 of the kids that were with us, we knew all the kids. We knew all of them.
You brought several children that you didn't know until you got there.
So they
but over
said-
the course of the week, you guys got friendly.
And they said, we'll go check on the plane because it's at the other end of the terminal. We'll meet you guys there.
What do you mean check on the plane? Like make sure it's got wheels?
I don't know. But it was smart because she FaceTimes me. I'm waiting for the burgers. And she says, forget the burgers. The plane's about to leave. What? Yes. It was 2:19. Boarding started at 2:20. And
You guys would have missed it.
the people at the gate were like, didn't you hear the announcements? We're like, we were in the lounge. We didn't hear anything. I was the last person on the plane.
Wow. And were you getting the stink eye?
No, I had to run through the terminal. I said, leave these burgers. And someone who was working at the Jamaica airport in Montego Bay, she's like, where's your food? I'm like, I had to leave it behind. She goes, I'll get it. She went, got my food, brought it to me at the gate.
What?
So we still got our burgers, got on the plane, stunk up that plane with those Dairy Queen burgers.
Oh, yeah, you're the worst.
And the plane, again, have you ever heard of a plane being fully boarded before it was even supposed to start boarding?
Yeah, that is. Are you sure you had the boarding time right? Did they
Yes.
change it? Is it possible they changed
No.
it?
It was supposed to take off at 2:50.
Yeah, that's weird.
Way to go, Sunwing. I
Yeah,
like
mean, it's
people
nice
that are
they
early.
wanted. Yeah, it's nice that they wanted to get you home.
And I'm still willing to endorse Sunwing and have them sponsor this podcast because of my great experience.
That's nice of you to be willing to do that.
Sunwing.ca.
I mean, there was a couple that brought on a whole pizza onto our plane, and I wanted.
Yeah, we were traveling with them.
I wanted to punch them. I don't
Again-
like when people bring outside food
But
onto
wait,
the plane.
our plan was to.
Unless it's not, I shouldn't say that. If it's chips, if it's stuff that doesn't smell, no problem. But like cooked food, that's a no-no. That's a stinky. You're in a stinky tube.
I totally agree with that, but we were going to eat it before we got on.
Right. That's fair.
But crush those burgers.
Everyone around you just like devouring these burgers.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, you're late, and then you're like, oh, sorry, everyone. Who wants my burger? No, it's mine.
But Jamaica, highly recommend it. Jerk chicken, great. Booze, weak. Red Stripe from a bottle, delicious.
Yeah, you should have just had that all week.
Well, that's the thing. You walk along the beach and they've got all these huts and stuff on the public part. And I'm like, down these, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm getting here.
Yeah.
But at the hotel, on tap,
Oh,
Homemade.
all the beer was on tap.
homemade.
What about, I thought in all-inclusives they stock your mini fridge in the rooms.
We had 3 fridges. It was like pulling teeth to get them to put beer in there.
Yeah, something shady was happening in your all-inclusive. You want to give the name?
No.
Okay.
Well, I can, I guess.
Jim's near booze.
It was called the Royalton.
the Royalton Resort.
It's a really nice place, but stingy on the in-room booze.
All right, so let that be a warning to all of you who are going to the Royalton in Jamaica. Bring some booze with you.
Yeah. We have 2 things we have to get to. Should we get to our tape thing or should we get to our guest? I'll get our guest.
I think we should
And with
finish with the tape thing. I agree. So let's
Okay,
get to our
this is
guest.
good.
This is extremely exciting for us.
Yeah. We've talked about him on our TV show a lot. He's going to set up his own chair that he's going to sit in during this interview. Cameraman Glen is going to be our guest.
Glen. Yes! This is exciting, Glenn. Glenn, I'm sorry you have to set up your own chair.
I'll give you a hand with that.
Yeah.
If I throw
Dan's
up my
gonna help
back.
you.
Oh!
Okay.
This is going to be... Ellen, are you getting a shot of this?
There we go.
I mean, if this doesn't sum up Canadian television, I don't know what does. It's the guest of the cameraman of the show, and the guest of the show, moving his own chair onto the set.
Yeah.
This is Cameraman Glen. Glen, how are you?
Hi. Hi to the fans. Hi to you guys. Thanks you for having me on here.
This is amazing.
If this had happened when we were working in LA, 4 to 6 people would have come out to move this chair.
They would have come out and moved the chair, then they would have disappeared and gone off into some small room and drank booze together for the rest of their shift.
Was it ever like that in Canadian TV where there were people you didn't know what they did because there were so many people around?
There was a lot of people around, but we knew what they did.
Okay.
But if I had done this 20 years ago, there would have been grievances filed.
That's right. The union
I wouldn't have been allowed to do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
I remember even as little as 5 years ago, when I would go to, like if I would go to turn off the studio lights or something, everyone would be like, no, don't do that. And now everyone's
not
like,
here, though.
Go over there
In
and turn
LA.
on the lights.
In
Do
LA
it.
or here?
No, here.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, the reason we have Cameraman Glen on is because he's a big part of the TV show. And he's an institution here because how long have you been working here in the CTV family?
45 years.
45!
So you started in 74, is that
Yes.
right? 74. And what was the first thing you did here?
The first thing I did here, I was doing technical stories, so I was heading up microphones to the studios and that. And the first thing I actually did in a studio, I was pulling cable for a cameraman on the Alice Cooper special, Welcome to My Nightmare, with
Amazing.
Alice Cooper and Vincent Price.
That's
And
amazing.
Vincent Price?
He was part of the
So,
show.
now, and that, you told me, that was the actual video that, like now if you
Yes.
pull that up on YouTube
Yes, it was
and
shot
watch
in
the
Studio
video.
6.
It was shot here at CTV
Yes.
in Scarborough.
In 1975.
Welcome
four
to,
or five. Yeah.
The welcome sign to Scarborough should say, welcome to Scarborough, welcome to my night.
Yes. and Alice Cooper was such a super person.
Wow.
He was so nice, and he's a character. He's Vincent Fournier,
Yeah.
and then he's Alice Cooper.
Right, on
You know?
stage.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's his real name?
Vincent Fournier.
Okay.
Because the band was Alice Cooper, right? The band was
Yes,
called Alice
yes,
Cooper. And then he
that's right.
sort of said, well, I guess I don't need
Yeah.
these guys. I'm moving on.
Yeah.
So that's so nice. And then Vincent Price came up here and was in the video essentially,
Yes.
right?
Yes, he was. Yeah.
And so what was he like? What was
He was a pure gentleman.
Yeah.
I was sort of in awe at that point because I just started.
That's the first thing you did. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So this is sort of an embarrassing story, but I asked him for his autograph at that time. And I said, but I wanted it for my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife. I said, could you make it out to Linda? And he just looks at me and he goes, I didn't know you were a girl. This is from Vincent Price.
Vincent.
It's like, oh my goodness, I just completely embarrassed myself like I just did now.
No way.
you know, but
man,
yeah.
No way. So then
Yeah.
what was your first regular show that you were working on?
The first show I did as a cameraman was the pilot for Stars on Ice.
Amazing.
And you know who the host of Stars on Ice was at that time?
Alex
James
Trebek.
Duffy.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, Alex Trebek.
No way.
Yep. Yep.
You said James Duffy? 74.
He was next.
A 10-year-old James. Hi, I'm from Ottawa.
Alex Trebek, though, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, Trebek, how was he back then?
It was super.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's been nice. It was really good.
Did that show get picked up? I don't even know.
Well, that was
Yes.
ran for years,
It ran
right?
for 8-9 years, yeah.
And,
Missed that one.
Yep.
well, you were
Yeah, it was-
Yeah, you were young.
you were just born.
Yeah.
but you've worked on iconic shows like Bizarre.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
So they did, just to clarify, did you do the Super Dave stuff or did you do the stuff that John Byner
John
did?
Byner stuff.
So
And they
that was
shot
all
it here?
shot.
Yes.
That was all shot here. That's incredible to think
Yeah.
about that.
And
That
Circus
show-
was shot here in Studio 6, which we had like trapeze artists and
Wow.
elephant acts and tiger acts and everything in here, yeah.
Did you ever meet Super Dave? Did he ever come in studio?
Yes.
He must have. Yeah, he did.
He was
Because he intro some bits,
He actually
right?
started.
Right.
He was a producer.
Right.
He was one of the producers, and then he
Amazing.
became Super Dave.
And
Yeah.
good guy.
Yes. Yes. Yep.
Was anyone a bad guy?
Oh, I've told you that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we talk about that or no? You'd rather
Yeah.
not?
Sure. Art Garfunkel.
Art
All right. Yeah, I
Garfunkel.
remember that.
Yeah. he
And that was on. So you worked on Canada.
that was
AM.
on Canada AM.
For a number of years, you worked on
Yes,
Canada AM.
yes,
And I mean,
yes.
Canada AM went through a number of incarnations.
Yes,
Were you a part of it when it just started, or did you jump on?
2
a
years
little later?
after it started. 2 years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so
And
wild.
that
And
was-
so Garfunkel comes on. What's he promoting?
He was promoting an Art Garfunkel album and his first album, I think, as a single.
Right.
And he just didn't. Every time we tried to run a piece with Paul Simon, and it's like stop.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want anything to do with him.
He's
You know?
pretending that he didn't exist.
Yeah, wiping
Yeah.
him from history.
Yeah.
Someday Dan's going to do that with me. He's going to go on a show and they'll try to show a clip of the two of us. They'll be like, hey, stop that.
No, I'll be
Run
like,
my Jamaica clips.
Yeah.
So Canada, we were talking about this last night because a game went long and we were here till, well, we weren't here that late.
No, we weren't that late.
But you were telling me about some of the stars that were on the show. Britney Spears before she was big.
Yes, Christina Aguilera.
Before they were
Yes,
really big.
this is when they would come on here when their first song was coming out.
Right.
Katy Perry, Mandy Moore,
All the pop stars
Taylor
of the
Swift.
90s.
Taylor Swift.
And then Glenn made a funny joke. He's like, and then once they got big, we never saw them again.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Well, tough to get them up to Scarborough at that point.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Shania came back. Shania was
Oh,
really
that's
good.
nice.
She would come back.
She's a
Did
good
you-
Canadian girl.
Yes.
Did
Yeah.
you ever work on, and I appeared on this show as a guest with my roommates, the Camilla Scott show?
Yes.
Yeah, you might have been the camera guy when I was on it.
Could have been. Yeah.
Because it's shot in the NHL studio. It was shot.
Yes. Because we would that shift we would do Dee Dee Petty in the morning.
Dee Petty,
And then we would
yes.
do Camilla Scott in the evening.
Camilla Scott had a little dog,
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Ruffy.
Yeah.
Now, Deanie Petty, Camilla Scott, did you ever have relations with either of them?
I'd rather not answer that.
All right, good. A true gentleman to the end, Glenn.
You also worked on The Littlest Hobo.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
incredible. So what did you
1983.
actually do on the show? Did you
I was-
do camera?
I was camera assist. I was a cameraman, but it was a big deal getting the contract. So they wanted 2 cameramen to go out and operate 1 camera. So Wayne Summers was my senior operator at the time. He did the camera, and I did the dolly and the focus pulling and all that.
What,
How
you
many
shoot in the back
takes?
of the lot?
We shot it everywhere, all over Ontario.
Okay.
All over Ontario.
Wow, that's incredible. Did you ever shoot it here on
Yes,
the
yes.
CTV lot?
There was one scene that we did in Studio 3, which is now where the national news is.
Right.
And they wanted the dog, Toro at that time, to jump through this window to save somebody in the building. And the dog would not do it. So
Can't blame him.
Chuck Eisenman, who was the owner of the dogs, says, "Okay, we're just gonna have to throw the dog through the window."
Oh no!
Wow.
So if you saw, it was carnival glass, right, or candy glass.
right,
or
right.
No dogs
He
were
knew
hurt
the
here.
dog wouldn't get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they said you have to. So if you ever saw that episode, you'll see the dog go through the window like this. You're just like, I don't want to do this.
So how many hobos were there?
5.
5. And was there one of the dogs where you're like, that dog's a dick? Or are they all good dogs?
Or did any of the dogs-
Toro was the smart dog. So he was a prima donna, and he knew it.
Right.
So whenever anything needed to be done, like need to go through the window, that was Bo's job.
Were there
Dum
male
dum.
and female dogs?
I don't know that.
Because I was wondering if 2 of the hobos ever started going at it.
No, not the dogs. Maybe the crew, but not the dogs.
That would be so weird.
Yeah.
Was it? It seems like it was a more fun time back then. TV, there was more possibilities for TV.
You know
back
what
then.
there was? There was a lot more money being spent.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So you would have a crew, like now you would have a crew of 5. Back then you had a crew of 20.
Yeah.
You know?
That's right.
So like all the cable running and the lighting and everything was
Yeah, there
done
was
a lot
more
quicker.
money
Yes,
involved.
yeah.
Right?
How many, say, back in the day would be working on our show on the floor?
Right now? Okay. 7?
7, and there's
Yeah.
2 now.
And now we have
Yeah.
2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we lost 5. So
Yeah.
That is
That's a lot.
crazy.
Yeah. Because you would have like we used 4 cameras.
Yeah.
You would have 4 cameramen.
Right.
You had a floor manager.
Yes,
You would have a
a floor
lighting guy,
manager. Yeah.
an electrician, and a stagehand.
So right now you're doing all those jobs. Well,
Well,
Ellen is
Ellen
the
and
floor
I.
manager.
Ellen and I.
Yeah, Ellen's floor manager.
Well, Ella's doing a lot more than me today.
Well, she's
That's
shooting
right.
us
She
right now.
asked before
Ellen's
we
our
came up.
other
She
camera
said, "Who's the guest tonight?" I'm like, "What? You didn't know?" So you made her evening.
Yeah. Glenn, when you heard you were going to be working on our show, was your reaction disgust? Did you threaten to resign?
Who are
Well,
these
Did you
guys?
ask who we were?
I just said, I don't know how I'm going to do this because I have to completely change my life because I worked from 5:30 a.m. till 2:30 p.m. and now I'm working 5:30 p.m. to 2:30 a.m.
Yeah.
I thought, at my age, am I going to be able to survive this? And I thought, hold on, I only got 9 months to go, so I think I can do it.
Right. And you've gone past that.
Yes, and since I've worked on the show, and it's not because you guys are here, I love working on the show.
That's great.
Obviously, you know.
That's great. And you're starting to get recognized.
Yeah, a few times. That's really funny.
Yeah, I love that.
It's really strange.
I think that's great. Now, if we went out on the road with our podcast, would you ever consider coming out with us? And
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we could head out after. It'd be like the old times. Like when you were working on Little Estobo, would you guys go out and drink after, and would the crew hang out
Yeah.
together?
Yes.
Would the dogs join everyone at the bar?
Oh, they were buying. They used to I had a park card, just put it on there, away we go.
Real question: did the dogs get paid, or does the
Chuck took
trainer?
it all. Chuck took it all.
So the
Chuck
dogs are like,
Eisenman,
we
yeah.
did all this work. Where's the money? And he's
Oh,
like,
they get fed and housed, I assume. They probably
sounds like
all
Chuck had a good little scam going.
they probably all lived in our office.
Maybe.
Still getting the smell out of there.
You also worked center field camera
For the Jays.
For the Jays for how
Yep.
many years?
12.
12 years.
That's awesome.
Did you ever get hit by a home run?
Yes. Actually, I have a video of it when Dave Winfield, I did the center field camera I was on a scissor lift, and the ball came right into my scissor lift.
Wow.
And I caught it, and Fergie Oliver at the time was doing the announcing, and they took a shot of me and said, "There's our center field camera. You got the ball," held it up.
Nice.
Did you keep it?
Yeah, and then Dave Winfield came back, and I got him to sign it.
Oh, that's
So I have
awesome.
the ball signed by Winfield.
Was that what's been the most exciting thing for you for like the thing that you remember the most throughout your career? Thing you enjoyed?
Wow. There's a lot.
Probably our show.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I actually did enjoy doing the Miss Universe pageant. That was a lot
Where
of fun.
was that?
Panama.
Here?
No, in Panama.
Oh, in Panama?
Miss Universe
They-
president, live from
said-
Scarborough.
I know you guys. I know you guys would hate this. I mean, they sent me down for 15 days to shoot Miss Universes in swimsuits.
Oh,
and,
wow.
At Christian Dior's house,
What?
and on the beach in Panama.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we did another one in Singapore.
Should we do that again? Should we start that up
Yeah,
again?
yeah.
Was that a CTV show?
No, it was that we were hired by a company called Glen Warren, which was would sell to CBS and NBC the cruise. So we were sold to CBS to do the show.
Panama. What was that like?
It was great.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
A lot of good drugs down there, I bet.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Any shows were missing that you worked on?
Was there a show that you did that only lasted, say, a few episodes and you knew right away?
Oh, yeah. There was a show we did with a designer that we shot the pilot in Studio 6. Alexander, I can't remember his name exactly. We did the whole. It was a huge
Like
thing.
a fashion designer? Or
Yes, a fashion
okay,
set.
okay.
Yeah, and we brought in Blackwell that used to do the judge the women's clothes and all that, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Right?
I know that guy.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we brought him in, and we did this whole big show. It was tons of money spent. We had a big wrap party that night. We came back in the next day to do the second day, and gone. We ran out of money.
Ran out
But at
of
least we
money.
had the wrap party, and we got the food and the beer and everything. We had the wrap party. And
What year? Give me the year.
Okay, I'm going to say mid-'80s.
Oh, so money was still being spent. Like
Yeah.
this is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in the mid '80s, on a show like this, would there be a craft services table? So would there be food at all times?
No.
I was upset. Thought we'd be missing out on all that free food.
Well, you saw what the craft services are. You shoot them.
I mean,
Yes.
we do have craft services here for the long,
Yeah,
the Aussie Open
tennis
shifts.
and that. Yeah. But you've seen what's there.
It's always very appetizing.
Not when you get to it.
It's a lifetime supply of mayonnaise they'll put in a bowl.
There's always a large amount of either salad dressing or mayo or sauce.
Yeah, well, and the bowl of salad is like this big,
Yeah.
and it's still full.
Right,
Yes.
right. And
But the meat is all gone.
yeah, that's right. Everyone just needs their protein.
But whoever's running the catering company hasn't figured this out, saying, okay, I see that they aren't really touching this
Right.
and this lifetime supply of Thousand Island dressing. Maybe we'll cut back on that and bring some more stuff to eat.
They're probably not that worried about it.
And Miss Canada was another one we did here.
Oh,
it was fun
you
to
did
do.
it in Scarborough.
Yeah, we did it in Studio 6.
See, that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't
You're
Deanie
gonna
Petty
do a
or
beauty
Camilla
pageant,
Scott,
do it here in Scarborough.
didn't they compete in one of those pageants? One of them? Or my,
I
Deanie
don't
Petty
think
and
so.
Camilla Scott were Miss
I don't think
Canada?
I thought
don't
one of them
think so.
came from the pageant circuit.
Oh, I don't know.
The only
And
one,
on
the only one I know
Canada
that came from the pageant was Fergie Oliver's wife.
Oh,
Can't remember her
Pam
name.
Oliver?
Didn't
on
they have
Fox?
a cooking show?
Yes, just like Mom.
Just like Mom.
Right,
Yeah, it worked out
right.
just like
I
Mom,
think they
too.
brought that show back recently, actually.
Did they?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
What was the premise of that? You cook something with your mom.
Yes.
Right?
And you had to, I think you had to guess which food was your mom's baking, you know? I think. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, I think they just brought that show back.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
CTV?
I don't know if it was CTV, though.
Yeah.
Might be a production company.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out. We'll get the scoop. So, and then Canada AM all those years, early mornings. Did you
Yeah.
ever get used to it? I always found doing a morning show,
Yeah.
I never felt awake.
Because what time would you have to arrive at work?
5:15.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
that bad.
But you'd normally be leaving at 1, so
yeah.
it wasn't too bad.
What were you doing from 9? So the show ends at what time? 9?
9, we'd have a break, and then we'd do noon news.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
We had another show.
Talk
So we-
back Toronto.
Yeah, we did that too.
Oh, boy.
Yep. Yep.
Whoa,
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting calls there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Glenn, this has been awesome. It's been nice
It's
catching
very nice
up
of you
with
to invite me here.
This has been fantastic.
Thanks, buddy. No,
Thank you.
this is where we tell you you've got to leave.
This is
Yeah,
we've never
I know.
figured out how to
So
get a guest
Yeah,
off
so
the
just-
set.
so you just wander off.
Yeah. Can I take that one?
No.
The wallet?
Take the wallet
No? Can't take the wallet?
and the chair.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye, Glenn.
Bye.
Man, what a great
What
guy.
a guy. That was
He's the
great.
best. It's one of my favorite things about.
You just call it the one home run?
Pardon?
Just the one home run hit you?
Yes.
In all those years?
But in batting practice, they tried to hit me.
Oh, that's great. That means they liked you.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things about working on this show is Glenn. Like just hanging out with Glenn and hearing old stories.
We have a great crew.
Yeah, we do have a really great crew. Other than Tim, of course.
Yes.
But everyone else on the crew has been fantastic.
What time are we looking at right now?
We should probably, okay, so we got to get to this.
Okay. So if you follow our friend Jeremy Taggart on social media, you know, first off, that he used to be a weekly guest on the show.
Yeah, and still is an occasional guest.
And one of the characters he brought with him each week, we'd get him to tell Ronnie stories, his dad.
Yeah.
And he became a larger-than-life figure. And Ronnie sadly passed away the other day,
Yeah, he passed away on Sunday.
suddenly from a heart attack.
Yeah, died of a heart attack, died too soon. And so we just, our deepest sympathies to Jeremy and his entire family. Jeremy was on a great trip with his wife and kids down in Los Angeles. And so the news obviously came as a real shock to him. And he was so close to his dad. And we, thinking back of it, when we started the podcast with the three of us and Mike Gentili, Jeremy and his dad were as big a part of the podcast as anything we did. Every single week, he would have a different story about Ronnie. And then finally, we got Ronnie to
That's
call
right.
into
Because
the
we
show.
were starting to think, like, this person doesn't even exist.
It was almost, it was too surreal. The stories, everything. We thought maybe this is.
So when we were in LA, we were still doing the podcast. Jeremy and his wife Lisa, they came out. So Jeremy came in, was sitting in on the podcast, and we said, let's call up Ronnie. And here is that phone call.
Is someone on the line?
Should have Ronnie, yeah.
Oh, Dad?
Yeah.
Hi. How's it going, Dad?
Fine. What's happening? I'm all excited here.
Yeah, nice.
Great. You got me on the air here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Going. You're online, Pops.
Oh, man.
That's it.
I'm not dressed for this.
Is this
I gotta get a tie on at least.
yeah, is this real life?
Comb my
Is this
hair.
real life? Gotta comb my hair.
Just a pair of pants will
Oh,
do.
yeah. I gotta lick my eyebrows here. Just a sec.
Lick my eyebrows.
Okay.
There we go.
Just aimed the phone. See, I got a... See me? All right.
Ronnie, great to meet you. My name's Dan. We host the podcast, Jay and
Hi,
I.
Dan. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Glad to meet you, man.
Your son Jeremy comes on every week, and he told us a few weeks back how you grew up in a gang.
Oh, did he say those things?
Yeah.
That was in confidence.
Dad,
Oh, yeah.
what was it?
Everybody, Everybody knows what happened in the Bronx in the 50s.
What was the
My
name
goodness.
of the name of the gang again, Dad?
Oh, the Junior Bacoogies.
You can use the
awesome guys, man.
you can use the incorrect term, the midget Bacoogies. It's okay.
Oh, they had everything. They had Junior Bacoogies, the midget-ikes, the midget Bacoogies, the Spartans.
It was like a little bit of a farm
three
system.
blocks had a gang. Oh, yeah, but they were all crazy kids. All they did was play baseball and fight.
Yeah. And they made zip guns.
Curveball and zip guns. That was just nothing, you know. That was just something we did in our spare time. But the majority of the time we played curveball, baseball, stickball, you name it.
And they threw you a going away party, although all the presents were stolen.
Everything was stolen from the delicatessen. What a spread they put out for me. Got me right here. Every time it brings a tear to my eye when I think of it. Oh, they were a bunch of good kids. I wish I could see them now.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe we could make that happen. Ronnie, my name's Jay. I also host the podcast.
Hi, Jay. How you doing?
I'm great. We just want to say a lot of our listeners have looked forward to this moment for a very long time. You're very popular on this show.
I'm really, I don't know what to say, man. I really don't.
What were you doing today? What did we catch you doing? Did we
what did I was trying to get the hot water going. There you go. We got a big deep freeze up here.
Dad, you can swear, by the way. If
Oh, yeah, you
feel
can
like
swear.
Yeah.
You can swear.
I don't want to swear. I got class here. I've invented class in my older days.
Okay.
That's all I was doing was getting my... I had buried my little chickadee. I had a little chickadee problem around here.
A chickadee problem?
Yeah,
What, do they get it in the house?
He couldn't fly, eh? So he's crawling around the ground, and I saw away a little bugger. I chased him all day long, trying to get him. I got him once, and I put him in the box. I finally got away, and it was terrible. Terrible ending. I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, tell us. Tell us, Ronnie. Don't leave us in suspense.
No. Anyway, no, it's fine. He's all wrapped up right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I'll have to wait till the thaw's out and so I can give him a proper burial.
Hey, Ronnie,
guy.
we're talking about Christmas traditions.
Oh, yeah.
What were your traditions growing up?
Oh, anything with Christmas was always a joy to us. You know, it didn't matter how much we got. We were always happy and content with what we got, and we always loved our families and stuff like that.
That's it.
I like it.
That's
You know,
what Christmas
simple
is all
stuff,
about.
man.
You're here.
People get all wrapped up in, I hope I get this, I hope I get that. Just be thankful for being healthy and for having family.
That's the biggest compliment. That's the biggest thing about it all, isn't it?
That and baseball.
Anyway.
And watching the
I
baseball.
don't want to keep you guys, so, really, let me go, eh?
Okay, Ronnie. Well, listen.
I'm really flabbergasted here.
Before
I was just going to talk to my son, Jeremy.
No,
But,
Dad.
oh, my goodness. Anyway, we'll see you on the 20th, all right?
Oh, yeah, Dad. We're going to rock it.
I'll be there with my guitar and everything. Eh?
Oh,
really?
really? Play some music?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm going to do some Elvis songs.
Oh,
All right.
nice. Maybe Blue Christmas or something like that.
Yeah,
Well, Ronnie, thanks for joining us. This is awesome.
I want to say thank you, too.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, and Merry Christmas to everybody out there, eh?
Thank you very
so
much,
much.
I love
Ronnie.
you all.
Thanks,
Okay.
Dad. Love
Thanks.
you, too.
Okay, take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow. Ronnie Taggart.
There he is. Man, what a character.
Yeah,
We only
right
had him
off
on the once.
the, right off the start. Hi. So, yes, gone too soon. So Jeremy and his family, we've been in touch with them, and send them a message on Instagram. Tell them how much you enjoyed his tales about Ronnie and listening to Ronnie on the podcast.
And thanks for listening to this podcast.
Yeah, we're going to see you in Ottawa this weekend. And if you're wondering, will I be able to hear that live podcast? It's going to be an extra podcast next week.
That's right. That's right. And then when we come back to the studio, we will recap our experience doing the live podcast, which will be really interesting.
Yeah.
It could be a disaster. We don't know.
There could be 3 people there.
It could be 3 people there. We have no idea. We have a big-time Hollywood agent coming with us to see how we perform in front of a live audience.
We're on stage, halfway through, we just see him walk out. Ben?
10 minutes in, he's on the phone with his assistant. I need you to change my flight.
Yeah.
I need my flight to get out
We've made a bad decision.
Can you change my flight? I need to get out of here tonight. No, I know. No, I know I said I was going to stay over, but I'm not. I need to go now. Can you call me a cab, please?
These guys have no clue what they're doing.
They didn't prepare. They didn't prepare a thing. I made a horrible mistake believing in them. Now get me on a goddamn flight.
So, hey, let us try and press this agent and show up.
Yeah. Okay, we'll see you Friday.